Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, doing a new series for you guys called Tools That Don't Suck. We've had a lot of requests for doing some different series on the channel, like toolbox tours and things like that. While I think toolbox tours are pretty cool, I also think they're extremely boring at times because people will drone on about wrenches and things they have that we all have. And I figured I'd cut the BS. I'll just show you the stuff that I think is interesting or different that I have that's in my toolbox and around the shop that I find really helpful and isn't something that everybody may have in their toolbox, so it'll be kind of stuff that you guys could find helpful. So today we're going to talk about the Eastwood Tungsten grinder. This is a brand new tool that actually, as of this video, isn't quite out yet, but it'll be out late March, early April of 2018. And I figured I'd do a little review on it. Now, a disclaimer, I do work for Eastwood. I've worked there for a number of years, and I'm not going to make this series or this bit about being an Eastwood commercial. I'm just going to show you some of my favorite Eastwood tools that I use. I mean, you guys see me working on this stuff, doing real work. I'm using these tools just about every day. So if I say that I like this tool, it's something that I use and I use hard. And this is a new one that I'm really excited about. So, Eastwood Tungsten grinder, what this is, it's really inexpensive compared to a lot of tungsten grinders. It's just under $100 is what it's going to be listed at. And what it does, allows you to sharpen your tungstens at the job. So I'm working on a Model A frame here that I'm doing a Tardell style step in the rear, and I'm going to be putting boxing plates throughout the frame. I'm going to be doing a lot of welding on this. So it's a pain in the butt when I'm welding, especially on metal that's 80 years old or more. You might come into a point where the metal pops on you and you get contaminants on your tungsten. Usually what I would do is I would stand up, walk over to the bench sander, sand my tungsten, walk back, and you could 2 minutes later have that issue again. It gets to be frustrating, especially when you're working inside of a car or on the frame table. It gets really annoying when I have to get up and walk. And sometimes you'll end up, what I've done when I get lazy, is you try and just finish the weld out with a contaminated tungsten, and it's only going to get worse from there. It's really best to stop, sharpen your tungsten anytime you get any contaminants on it. So this allows you to have a handheld tool. It does have a cord, works off 120, so a normal extension cord you can hook up. It has a little hook on the back, which is handy. You can hang it off of something in the car. With this frame, I had a panel clamp hanging here, and I had the tool hanging from that. So if I need it, I can just pull it off and I can use it, which is really nice. So it is a rotary style tool, just a little handheld tool, and it has 5 different speeds that go from slow all the way up to blast to the moon. I don't usually use the highest setting. I usually go like number 4, something like that. Works well for me, but you'll have to experiment for yourself. Now, the business end that's really important on this, that I think is what sets this apart, has this machined head that fits over the rotary tool. And we'll get some close-ups of some of this stuff so you guys can see it. I don't expect you to see it here. But there are grooves or slots cut into this that set the tungsten at a 22.5 degree angle. Basically, that was decided because the American Welding Society suggests a optimal angle grind of the angle on your tungsten of 22.5 degrees. So that was set to that setting, and it works pretty good. It's a good middle of the road type setting to get you going. The other thing it has straight slots that are cut on either end. Those are for if you want to break a tungsten off. So if you have a big mess on the end of your tungsten, you can put it in here and just do a quick flip of the wrist, snap off the tungsten to get past the balled up section, and you can grind. Now, one thing to mention, that you do need to grind past the section that's splintered. When you break off your tungsten, a lot of times it will splinter just a little bit below where you broke it. You want to definitely sand off those areas, so you're going to need to grind in your tungsten grinder just past those areas. You could use a set of side cutters or something like that if you prefer that, but it's just another option in the tool that makes it really handy. So the other part that's nice, this isn't just a normal grinding wheel, this is actually a diamond wheel that's on here. It's double-sided. Get about 100 grinds to either side. So even for a beginner that might be grinding their tungsten a lot, you get a lot of life out of these wheels. And you can basically take the head off. There's a screw in the center, and you can flip the sanding wheel all over, and that'll get you a fresh wheel. You get another 100 grinds out of it. You may get more if you're not grinding off excessive balling of the tip, you may get even more than that depending how hard you are on it. The wheels are really inexpensive. They're going to be under $20 when they do come out. And what you do when you're setting your tungsten in, and again, we'll get some close-ups that will drop in, but basically you turn the tool on and you drop your tungsten in the slot, and you just angle it down till it touches the base of the milled or machined slot that's in here. Put it against the wheel as it spins, and you just spin your tungsten. And the tool does everything else. And it's pretty quick. You can after a couple of spins, you can get this sharpened up from even a dull, flat, broken off piece or tungsten. You can grind this really quick and easy, which is real handy. So what I'm going to do is we'll grind a couple of these. We'll show you 1/16 and 3/32, which is what this tool does, and we'll show you some close-ups of grinding, and maybe we'll get some close-ups if we can of macro shots of just the point after sanding it. So let's do a couple of close-ups here and show you what it works like. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see how handy this is to use. Just when I was welding this section here, it was really nice that I could stop, grind it, put my helmet back down. A couple of things I'll note about the tool. I wouldn't even say they're necessarily negatives, just things to think about if you get one of these and you're using it. Number one, if you use bulky gloves when you're TIG welding, unless I'm doing like real high amperage long welds, I usually wear some thinner gloves. They're the same ones I use when I'm shaping metal. They're these Tillman like non-cut gloves. They have a little bit more feel to them, so when you're grabbing the tungsten, you can actually roll it around in your fingers a little easier. So if you have heavy gloves, using them when you're doing this is a little difficult, but really when you're doing it on a belt sander or anywhere else, it's the same thing. It's nothing new. You may have to take your one glove off to work the tungsten a little quicker and easier. The other thing is, if you're thrifty like me and you run the mini torches, I run a number 9 torch 90% of the time on my TIG with no back cap or the stubby back cap. What ends up happening is you have a small tungsten to start with, and again, if you're thrifty like me, you'll run your tungsten until there's nothing left. I mean, we got this much tungsten here that I'm still using. It still works fine, but what happens with this tool is when it starts getting really short, you're going to run out of room just because of the head of the tool. You can't get into the sand. Now, I could still sand this one just fine, and it is maybe, I don't know, not even 2 inches long, maybe 1.5 inches long, and I can still sand it. But if you get much shorter than this, the tool isn't able to, it doesn't allow you to get in there. It's a good thing because if you were doing something this short by hand in the on the belt sander or the grinder, you risk losing your fingertips because you're getting so close to the grinding wheel. So it's actually a safety thing. You can get in here, and the closest your fingers are going to get is to the outside of the guard. So if you're running these real stubby ones, just remember that that you may not be able to get in there to sand it. But again, if it's 1.5 inches or longer, no problem at all. When you get down below that to an inch or even shorter, you're going to have trouble or not be able to get in there and sand it. And maybe you need to start out with a fresh tungsten to allow yourself to grind in there anyways. So that's all I have for this. Really handy tool. Again, it's going to be like under $100, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me just for the ease of being able to use it on the job. And it's just going to save time and hassle getting up and regrinding the tungsten as you're welding. So it should be out, like I said, beginning of April, end of March 2018. If you're watching this when this video just came out, you can grab it then. And it's pretty great because I haven't bought one previously because they were $200-300 for the handheld ones, and I just couldn't justify the cost. I'd rather buy rusty junk instead of spending it on that, and I probably really needed it because it will help the quality of work by having a nice clean sharpened tungsten. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it. Catch you later.